What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know what it is. It's my Week 3 NFL wrap-up review, if you will. This is Monday, so we haven't gotten to the epic Monday night game between Baltimore and Kansas City tonight, and I'll review that either tomorrow or Wednesday on my podcast. But I said at the beginning of the season, because people would be rusty, no preseason, no OTAs, there's been a lot of injuries. Last week was just a savage week for injuries. I said if your team started 0-1, don't panic. If your team started 0-2, don't panic. For a couple of teams now who are 0-3, it's time to panic because in effect your season is over. And I will get to those teams who are pretty much done now so I can get them out of the way. First, the New York Jets. The New York Jets, they're a practice squad team. They're a joke. I don't know how Adam Gase even still has a job. They got blitzed and bum rushed by the Colts yesterday. The Colts defense, I believe, scored more points than the Jets offense. I know the Colts defense had 2 pick sixes and a safety. And I just don't understand how Adam Gase could keep his job. I don't get it. I don't know what obsession the Johnson family has with him to keep him as the head coach. It's just ridiculous. I mean, if I was a Jet fan, I would be depressed. But the next team that's a joke, along with the Jets, is near and dear to my heart. It's my Denver Broncos. We're terrible. We are terrible. We suck. We do. And the little bit of expectations that I had coming into the season was based on last year because Drew Lock did pretty good. He was 4-1 as a starter. We'd made some good acquisitions on defense this year. So coming into the season, I was like, okay, yeah, we might have a chance to make some noise. Then, conveniently, Drew Lock gets hurt. And it really started right before the season when Von Miller got hurt, and he's out for the season. Then Drew Lock gets hurt. He's out for about 3 to 5 weeks. And there's going to be no point by the time he comes back. And we lost yesterday to the Tampa Bay Bucks 28-10. People were giving Tom Brady these rave reviews, and I don't know why, because Tom Brady didn't play that great. We have 2 rookie starting cornerbacks. I thought Bucks were going to throw up about 45 points on us. Honestly, I was picking players from Tampa and FanDuel and everything else. I mean, because I'm just go be quickly. Just talk about my Broncos for a second. They're my favorite team. I love the Denver Broncos, and what has happened with us is simply painful. Because for almost the last decade, we've always managed to try the good defense out there. And then Elway signs Peyton Manning. We know what happens there. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl victory. But ever since then, it has been a disaster. It has been a disaster. So Drew Lock gets hurt. Then we go to Jeff Driscoll. He plays awful yesterday. Then we go to some dude named Rippon. All I know is he's the nephew of Mark Rippon, the former quarterback for Washington, now known to me as the DC Dickage. But his uncle won a Super Bowl way back in the early 90s. And it's terrible. It is just terrible. No Von Miller, out for the rest of the season. AJ Bouye hasn't played since the first half of week 1. Drew Lock is out. Now, Cortland Sutton, torn ACL, out, our best wide receiver. And now just found out today that our newly acquired defensive lineman, Jarrell Casey, he's out for the rest of the season. So this season is a wash. My Broncos are done. We're damn near just as bad as the Jets. We actually play the Jets on Thursday night. If they were worried about sorry ratings for last week's game between the Dolphins and the Jaguars, they'll have another sorry ratings game. I probably won't even watch the game, to tell you the truth, because to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets beat us, because at least they still have their starting quarterback. We are trash. We are, and it really hurts me to say this, but we are trash. And Vic Fangio needs to go. Vic Fangio needs to go, and I'm not trying to pull the race card, but he's going to have far less productive seasons than Vance Joseph, who's a black man who got 2 seasons and then was given the boot. I could honestly, the way we're looking, we'll be a 3-13, 2-14 team, and Vic Fangio needs to go. Anyway, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles tied yesterday, so both teams are 0-2-1. Well, Cincinnati is in the AFC North, man. They're in the AFC North, and while Joe Burrow, they've been competitive in every game. Being in that division, they're going to have to take their lumps. You know, you just hope that he doesn't get hurt. And what's crazy is that it's the total opposite for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're 0-2-1. I just hate the whole concept of a tie as being a rule in the NFL. I think that's dumb. I mean, Doug Peterson, he was mad conservative, showed that he doesn't have any trust in Carson Wentz or in his defense by settling to go for a tie. It's better than a loss. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it is better than a loss. And the Eagles division, the NFC East is so bad that the Eagles are still only a game out of first place. That's how bad the NFC East is. It's terrible. But Cincinnati probably gonna go ahead and pack it on up, dog. Think that a wrap. I think that ain't a wrap, dog. I want to think of the 0-3 teams. The Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry. And the Atlanta Falcons are making me look so bad right now because I call them as my dark horse team in the NFC. Both of my dark horse teams are making me look very bad. The Falcons again had a double-digit multiple possession lead in the fourth quarter to the Chicago Bears. This time at home, and again they blow it. How the hell does Dan Quinn still have his job? How? Please, somebody explain that to me. How does, bruh, after what happened against Dallas the week before, I'm telling you, if I'm the owner or the general manager of the Falcons, as soon as Nick Foles completes that touchdown pass to give them the lead, bruh, you're fired. You're not even finishing the game. You're fired because the Falcons have extremely talented players, and they are playing. It's like they're playing they're playing about 50 minutes of football. And then the last 10 minutes of the game, they just completely fall apart. That's coaching, bro. That is coaching. I mean, and it's crazy. They're 0-3, and they lost again to the Bears, who, in essence, they're 3-0. Mitchell Trubisky was benched because he was playing like crap. Nick Foles came in and threw 3 touchdown passes to lead the Bears back. It's tough to say it's over for Atlanta because they have so much talent on that team. They have so much talent. But Dan Quinn will be gone. Like I said, my other dark horse team in the AFC, the Houston Texans, are making me look bad. They're making me look bad, but in fairness to Houston, now this ain't even about the DeAndre Hopkins trade. In fairness to Houston, somebody in the NFL did not like them or does not like them. For their first 3 games to be at Kansas City and then play Baltimore at home and then at Pittsburgh, somebody did you no solids at all. And with that being said, that offense is actually starting to come along to look like what I actually thought it would look like, because I've always said, even though I would never have traded Hopkins, the fact that you have 4 receivers where 3 of them run 4-3 and can take the top off of a defense, they should still be a formidable offense. No preseason hurt them tremendously. But even with that, their defense is not good. Even with J.J. Watt and Merciless and McKinney, their defense is no good. It's not. So I'm not going to say it's done for them either, because I'm still not I'm not a believer totally of Tennessee. I'm starting to get there. The Colts, the Indianapolis Colts, their defense, it looks great right now. But before I go crazy about the Colts defense, their in week 1, they lost to Jacksonville. Jacksonville put up 30 points on them. And then their next 2 games, they played the Vikings, who are like, whoa. Like, this, Vikings aren't. And then they played the Jets. So, and speaking of the Vikings, they're another 0-3 team. They had a lead in the fourth quarter, blew it to Tennessee. Tennessee, incidentally, is 3-0. Ryan Tannehill is making me out to be a liar because I said before the season started, by the end of this season, the Titans are going to realize why they shouldn't have given Ryan Tannehill, even though they didn't even give him a $100 million contract, they're going to realize that they spent too much money on him. Now, I could be wrong, that could still happen, but they look like a well-balanced football team. Mike Vrabel is a damn good coach. Another team that is 0-3, the New York Giants. Well, the new football in New York, unless you're talking about Buffalo, football in New York is horrible. The New York Giants are awful. They are awful. Bro, they scored 6 points against a San Francisco team. They only scored 6 points against San Francisco's practice squad team, bro. I mean, for real. No Garoppolo, no Mostert, no Tevin Coleman, no Deebo Samuels, no George Kittle, no Nick Bosa, no Richard Sherman, no Solomon Thomas. And the 49ers won by about four touchdowns. Like they are in New York. The New York Giants are a joke. Another person, how do you have your job? Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman, are you serious? Daniel Jones looks bad. Daniel Jones, I know Saquon Barkley is out, but Daniel Jones looked bad before Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was looking bad before he got hurt. Daniel Jones, wow, everybody was raving after those first two starts last year when he was put in for Eli. Daniel Jones right now has regressed. He has regressed. He looks bad. Daniel Jones looks very, very bad. He does. It's crazy. It's like, who's worse, the Jets or the Giants? I mean, put them, if they played each other, they would probably tie 0. I mean, they're just bad. Now, to marquee games, but hold on, before I go to that, this is why I'm not giving Vic Fangio any passes when it comes to injuries, because that's all about coaching. San Francisco was bit harder than anybody by the injury bug, and I don't care if they are playing the Giants or not. They looked well coached, and that's the importance of having a competent backup. A competent backup and good coaching go hand in hand. Marquee matchups. Seattle beat Dallas 38-31. It's a fun game to watch. Russell Wilson is proven right now that you could easily say that he's the best player in the game. Dallas's defense stinks. Seattle's defense stinks. At least their secondary does. But Russell is just head and shoulders right now on another level. I mean, he had 5 touchdown passes. Should have been 6 if DK Metcalf hadn't done that dumb shit that he did. Bro, if I'm the coach, even with the win, I'm bringing DK Metcalf in the office today and I'm asking him, why do I need you on the team? I'm serious. Now, mind you, I would have no intention of like releasing him or benching him, but he would have to get a stern talking to. I would ask him, why are you on the team? Because you must not want to be on the team if you ever do that dumb shit again. Goodbye. Get out of my office. Now, on to the Dallas Cowboys. If you've heard my podcast, I do not bloviate and talk about the Dallas Cowboys like every other sports show in America seems to do. At least national sports show. And I'm going to tell you why, bro. I'm going to tell you why. And this is not even me hating. I'm going to throw nothing but facts at you. The Dallas Cowboys are an average to below average football team when it comes to results. I'm not talking about individual talent. Because every year we say the same damn thing. Oh, they look at them and they are such a talented team. They have such a talented roster. And in the end of the day, they disappoint you. They may have the one season out the blue like in 2016 when they were 13-3. Still, one and done in the playoffs. And what pisses me off the most is that they get more media hype, more media attention than any team in the NFL, and they have done nothing in 25 years. Not even so much as a conference championship appearance. Not even that much. See, when I watch shows like First Take and Undisputed, and they always talk about, well, who's going to win the NFC East? I'm like, why do y'all still have this obsession with the NFC East? We all know Skip Bayless is just obsessed with the Cowboys. It's ridiculous because the producer of the show need to be like, bro, you know what? They don't win. They don't win. Damn the headlines. Damn Jerry Jones. He's a media hoe. Damn all of that. Let's talk about people who are winning, who are getting the results that you're looking for. And that's not Dallas. And the crazy thing is, Dallas will probably win the division because the NFC East is so bad. 7 wins will probably win that division because Dallas lucked up because Atlanta does not know how to hold a lead to save his ass. Dallas should be 0-3. Dallas should be 0-3. Dallas is tied with the DC Dickage at 1-2 for first place in the NFC East. People need to let this narrative that the NFC East is so important go. The 80s and the 90s are over, and that's what people are still clinging to. When the 80s and 90s were there, and the NFC East was the top dog as far as the division in the NFL. Winning 8 Super Bowls during that time period. Washington winning 3. Dallas winning 3. The Giants winning 2. In a span from the 80s to the 90s. The Eagles won in 2017. The Giants won in 2011 and 2007. But the team that gets the most attention, Dallas, they haven't even so much as been to a conference championship game. Not. And I don't want to hear that, well, they're America's team. No, they're not. Because America doesn't want to be associated with mediocrity or losing, and that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. That's what they have been since 1995. This isn't hate, this is facts. I'm spitting facts. I'm watching First Take and Undisputed. The Miami Heat just made an improbable run to the NBA Finals to play LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers last night. And instead of leading off with that, which was more important, which was a bigger accomplishment in A block of Undisputed and First Take, they lead off with the Seahawks and the Cowboys in a Week 3 game. Week 3. Why? I know football is king in America, but Dallas? And what did Dallas do? Lose. We spend the whole summer talking about Dak Prescott's contract. We're talking about a quarterback that didn't even get to the playoffs last year. We're talking about a quarterback who was below 500 this year. He throws for all of these yards because they're always losing. And they have no choice but to throw yards to get back in the game. Wake up! They're not a good team. Good individual talent does not mean you are a good team. Dallas is not a good team. You know why? I mean, Mike McCarthy is a well-respected coach, but that doesn't mean he was a sought-after coach. That doesn't mean people were looking to hire him. They hired Mike McCarthy because he would give the least amount of putback so Jerry Jones, who's a media hoe, can still take all the credit when they win. It's not hate, this is facts. Anyway, New England beat the Raiders. They ran the ball down the Raiders' throat. Cam looks good. Cam looks good. Controversial day of the game of the day was Buffalo and the Rams. I thought that was a terrible call on 4th down against the Rams. The Buffalo Bills blew a 28-3 lead. Rams had come all the way back, take the lead. It was 4th and 9, deep in the Ram territory, and the Rams got called for pass interference, which I think was just terrible. But to Buffalo's defense, you know, the Rams did give up a 3rd and 22 on that drive, as well as a 3rd and 25. They gave up about 16, 17 yards to get Buffalo in better position for that 4th and 9. So the Rams have to turn around and look at themselves for that, but at the same time, I think the Rams are going to be okay this season. It would not surprise me if they were a wild card. New Orleans and Green Bay, the Sunday night game. I know I'm going kind of around when it comes to time frames, but Green Bay Packers, bro. Green Bay Packers look good. I'm not worried about the Saints yet, because Drew Brees did play okay. They just have to really tread water till Michael Thomas gets back. I'm not going off the hinges like some people I see saying Tampa Bay is the best team in the NFC or Tampa Bay is going to win that division. Bro, Tampa Bay lost to New Orleans. They beat Carolina, who's sneaky better than people think because Bridgewater is actually a good quarterback. And they lost to Denver. It was horrible. Okay, I think New Orleans will be fine. I still think they're going to win the NFC South. But Green Bay, right now, if I was to say who the best team in the NFC is right now, it's between Seattle and Green Bay, and I would have to give the nod to Green Bay because their defense is better. Seattle's secondary is scratch and sniff right now. They should be on the waiver wire or trying to call Aqib Talib, see if they can buy out his contract from Miami to see if he can come out of retirement, something. But, I mean, you have Russell Wilson, so Russell Wilson is making it go. Russell Wilson actually reminds me right now of Aaron Rodgers from about 5-6 years ago when Green Bay's defense always stunk and Aaron Rodgers had to be Superman for 16 games a year. But I would have to give the edge to Green Bay because their defense, they can stop you. Tampa Bay's defense can stop you too, but like I said, Carolina and Denver. Once a Super Bowl matchup, now two cellar dwellers. So I have to see better competition for the Bucs because when I saw them face good competition, they lost. Albeit week 1, I don't care. They lost. So we'll see about that. Who else played? Cleveland. Oh, another team. Cleveland, they actually have a winning record now for the first time in 6 years. They beat the DC Dickish. Let me tell you something. I like what Cleveland is doing. I like what Stefanski is doing because he's making sure the foundation is solid and strong on both sides of the ball. Okay, Cleveland has a great offensive line. They have 2 stalwart running backs. All they're asking Baker Mayfield to do is just be a game manager, ride these running backs till the wheels fall off. And all the talk of them trading Odell Beckham, that's not going to happen. I'll tell you why. Because he's their biggest play action threat. And the fact that they can run the ball and run it great, the fact that they have 2 Pro Bowl running backs back there, they're not going to get rid of their best deep threat when play action pass is going to be there for you all the time. If Cleveland keeps this up, because they have a great offensive line and they have a great defensive line, if Cleveland keeps up this remedy, they are going to be a force. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. They have their team is built a lot like the Ravens, except they have elite wide receivers because Baker Mayfield ain't Lamar Jackson. That's the only difference. Baltimore's defense is a little better too, but the makeup of that team is very similar to the Ravens. Very similar. Arizona had a letdown. Kyler Murray played. He didn't play that great. Had a great touchdown one, but 3 interceptions. Lost to the Detroit Lions. And they lost at the gun 26-23. I don't know why people keep giving up on Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson is still beasting. He really is. He really is. Peterson is still a monster. I mean, now, you know, he may not have the breakaway speed, but, you know, 22 carries, 75 yards, that's solid. If you gave it to him about 8 more times, he probably gets you over 100 and maybe a touchdown. He's still built for it, even at 35 years old. So I'm not sure if I missed anything. I feel like I haven't covered everything. I went in on the Falcons. I may have. Oh, the Panthers, they beat the Chargers. The Panthers, like I said, Bridgewater's a good quarterback. And the Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert, he played like a rookie. He played like a rookie with promise, but nonetheless, he played like a rookie. That trick play almost worked at the end. If Austin Eckler had been able to catch that lateral from Keenan Allen, that shit would have worked. And that would have been crazy. But Teddy Bridgewater's a solid quarterback. You know, they don't have, I mean, without McCaffrey, they're limited, but he doesn't make many mistakes, and they have sneaky good receivers. Robbie Anderson is a pretty good receiver. You know, he is. So I think I've covered all of the bases. I do. So I'll be back on the podcast to talk about the Monday Night Madness. Peace.